If you're going to grow a company to 8 figures or 9 figures, or heck, let's say you're going to grow it to 7 figures, the behaviors, the tools, the systems, the people, the strategies, and a whole lot more need to be different than if you're running a 6-figure business. Recently I had somebody ask me the question, Dan, if you're going to build an 8-figure business, what do you need to do? So I decided to put this presentation together that essentially walks you through what you would do to build an 8-figure plus business. Number one, it starts with your focus. Do you realize that in the United States, if you look up here on the chart, you're going to see, and depending on which statistics you review and look at, they'll be a little bit different. However, there's about 33.1 million businesses in the United States alone, let alone worldwide. Out of 33.1 million businesses in the United States, do you know that 86.4% of business owners earn at $100,000 or less? That's staggering, isn't it? There's a lot of good, hardworking people who certainly would love to be able to increase and get into the 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure range, but maybe they just don't have the tools. So there's plenty of opportunity. Number two, about 9% of businesses in the United States exceed or equal $1 million or more a year. Just 9%. So depending again on the stats you look at, that'll be between 2.9 and 3.1 million businesses in the United States. Again, it's much bigger worldwide, that are at $1 million or higher a year. Then do you realize that only 0.004% of businesses get to the $10 million dollar mark? That's 8 figures. 8 figures is essentially between 10 million and 99 million a year. That means there's between 130,000 to 250,000 businesses in the United States, not including worldwide, that have hit that level. So what's your focus? Why not go for an 8-figure business, 10 million or higher? If you fall a little short, is that maybe a little better than where you're at? And if you're already there, why not go to the higher end of 8 figures to 99 million, or maybe go for the $1 billion? Do you realize that in the United States, it's estimated there's only about 3,000 to 9,000 total businesses that have hit the $1 billion mark? So what is your focus? Where are you at today? Where do you want to go? What are you committed to? Now, with that, let me walk you through a few strategies to get to 8-figure. There's 6 keys to get to that next level. So if you're at 6, get to 7. If you're at 7, get to 8. If you're at 8, go for 9. Ideally, I'm going to challenge you to go for 8 at the very minimum. So number one is principles and strategies are senior to tactics. So many people fall in love with all the different things going on, different platforms, different AI, different this, different tools, etc. And I want to encourage you to stay true to number one, which is principles are senior to tactics. Number two, the team. The team that got us to 6 figures is not the same team that's going to get us to 7 and 8 figures. So it's a who issue. Dan Sullivan and Kevin Hardy wrote a great book called Who, Not How. And at the end of the day, who can help you solve most things. And you want to choose your who and work with pros, not amateurs. Go for pros versus just normal Joes in most cases. Not all cases, but in most cases. So that's number two, critical key that's going to help you get to that next level. Number three is tech. So many people don't even have simple basic CRM things set up. Things like their pipelines, things like being able to all connections that the founders make and team makes and all the campaigns that are being run online and off are getting entered into a central universal CRM with standardized processes built in place, and also have a lot of tech disorganization, meaning, many times people don't know where their Google logins are, or they worked with an agency and essentially the agency owns it instead of the business. You want to get control of your tech, you want to get control of your tech platform, and so on. So strategies and principles, team, and tech. That's 3 of the 6. Let's go to the next couple. Number 4, financials. It's so amazing that many people don't understand the benchmarks in their numbers. They don't have the understanding of their competitors in their industry. So what are the benchmarks? Oh, by the way, if we're working together, we can give you the benchmarks so you're clear on some of these things. In addition, in the financial aspect of things is building out a scorecard where you can bring different divisions together to connect and also get in alignment of things, right? And things like the cost per lead, the cost per sale, the cost per appointment, long-term value of clients, all those sorts of things matter. And having a centralized scorecard can make a big difference and simplify and also give you the control and power to make powerful decisions. Number 5, everybody loves mom. until they don't. No, I'm just kidding. God bless my mother. She passed forward into her new life a couple years back. And mom. So we all got to love mom, which is why we put it this way. Mom. What is mom? Let me map this out for you so you know what mom is. So mom is the model. O is the offer. And then lastly, this M is the marketing. So when you look at mom, if the marketing's not working, it may not be because the marketing's not working. It usually starts with the model. The model may be broken. It might be flawed. It might be outdated. It might need to be innovated. So we got to start not necessarily with the marketing. We got to start with the model. And then once we go to the model, then we've got to assess, okay, do we have a truly irresistible offer? If we don't have an irresistible offer, it can be the reason why a lot of the marketing or selling is kind of lackluster if that's happened in your business. So the model, the offer, and then the marketing. For example, if Apple would have stayed the same before they brought Steve Jobs back many moons ago when they did, what would have happened to Apple? They would have been like a Kodak where, they could keep, the marketing was great at the time and place when it worked. But when the model became outdated, if they kept doing the same marketing, what does that mean? It means it's not going to work. It's not that the marketing doesn't work, it's the model is flawed or outdated and needs to be up-leveled. So I encourage you to look at your model, your offer, and your marketing along the way. And also in marketing, it's really critical as you're doing this, again, to create a system, to create simplicity, to create alignment. Make sure you've got a current updated marketing plan, as well as a marketing calendar that helps drive proactive views for you, your team, and more to get on the same page. So that's the mom. And then last but not least, for this segment anyway, the sixth critical piece, which are systems. Systems run your business. You have good people that can run those systems. So what is a system? I forget who I first learned this from many moons ago, probably a couple decades. It's a system is really designed to save yourself time, energy, and money. And our two favorite, and when you're a hammer, everything's a nail, but the two biggest levers, the two biggest needle movers in a business, right, are this marketing and the sales system. Like if you just get incremental improvements in those systems, you can get exponential outputs, exponential outcomes. If we want to get a breakthrough, many times, what do we got to do? We got to break stuff. We got to break things that aren't there working and innovate them to get that next level breakthrough. So I encourage you with your systems, you certainly want to have systems for all divisions, but what would happen for your business if you really got focused on the marketing system and the sales system within your organization? So for you, as you assess those 6 areas, and I encourage you to assess those 6 areas, what has to happen for you to get to that 8-figure mark or 9-figure mark if you're going there, or maybe you're going for the 10-figure mark, or if you're still at a smaller place, to at least to get to that 7-figure mark. So I encourage you, do an assessment, 1 to 5, 5 highest, 1 lowest, on your strategy in your business. 5 is highest, 1 is lowest. 2 is your team, right? Where are you at there in your team? Who's the who's and who are the pros and who are the joes, and get real about it. Number 3 are the tech. Is your tech set up properly? And if not, make sure you get a who to help solve that. Financials. Do you really have the right financial benchmarks to make good decisions, to know what's working, what's not working, and so on? Number 5 is the mom. Focus on the model, the offer, and the marketing, and a lot can happen. And then building out your systems. Of course, all systems matter, but the 2 biggest levers are marketing and sales. So what would happen for you if you up-leveled each of those just 1 notch on a 1 to 5 scale, improve those incrementally to get exponential outcomes? So we put together this tool. We call it the Wheel of Marketing and the Wheel of Momentum. And with each of these tools, it's a really simple exercise to be able to go through maybe quarterly, which is a great thing to be able to do. In this top left area, you're going to see where are you now, right? So you get real about where you're at now, like, what's working with your marketing, what's with your business, with getting clients, etc. Maybe things that need to be up-leveled, things like that. In addition, over on this right side, you go through each of the 10 numbers on the far right. Starting at the very top right here, you've got clear vision and growth plan, right? Do you really have that in writing and laid out and mapped out? And you've got projections for your services, your products, piece by piece. How many of how many? How many are you moving? How many per month? How many clients? And then it builds out into your projections. And you've got a current version and you've got one you're building to. The second one is you're clear on your ideal clients, right? And I'm just going around the right circle here. So ideally, I'll make this just a little bit bigger for you to see. And oh, by the way, if you want a copy of this, let us know. We can send this to you, and ideally this gives you great clarity. It's a great roadmap. Our clients tell us they love this because it helps them get alignment, gives them clarity, gives them focal points, and they can do it in like 15 minutes or less, right? Next, clear on your unique messaging. How clear are you? And you want to rate this from 1 to 10 on a scale, 1 low, 10 high, right? Are you campaigns that build trust and respect? Trust is, a new capital today. It's one of the most valuable capitals that most people misunderstand in marketing. And if you're not doing it, it's costing you sales, it's costing you momentum, it's costing you growth, and you have to sell more versus people buying. So do you have intentional campaigns that build trust and respect? Next, paid ads that are generating leads for you on a 1 to 10. Social media marketing campaigns, or how about SEO content that is driving traffic and momentum? Next is education-based events that are driving leads and sales. We call these education-based conversion events for a reason. So are you using education-based events, virtual, live, or hybrid or evergreen along the way? Next, are you clear on the cost to acquire leads, appointments, and clients? What are the numbers? What are the benchmarks? What are you going for? Next, CRM tracking. Is it centralized in one main place for you and your team to be able to operate, and again, efficiently and effectively, do the right thing, do things right? That's the wheel of marketing. Now, wheel of momentum down on the bottom, right? Starting at the top. Do you know the long-term value of your clients, dollars-wise? Next, are you clear on the unique method of how you deliver your promises with the different products or services you offer? Next, and this, again, it goes around. I don't want to overdraw this, but I do want to give you some examples here, right, as we go around. I mean, again, because you can read these yourself, you've got a systemized process for referrals and reorders, profit-generating follow-up systems for generating referrals, evergreen models that convert, email campaigns. Like, it's one of the simplest things to be able to add, a website that converts leads to sales, right? So again, where are you now? Now what do? You put your score here for this top wheel, then you put your score here down for the bottom wheel. And I've got a sample here we'll show you in just a second and give you some jumping off points. And now you put, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, right? Let's say that 9-figure focus was what you're going for. Or, just depending on where you're at, like, what is it? What are you going for? What has to happen? So why do you want to get there, right? Why do you want to get there? And what will it mean if you do? And what will it mean if you don't? The longer the lever, the greater the opportunity to get it done. It becomes more of a why than it becomes a how do I do that, right? So you want to create that leverage. What are the top 3 to 5 things you need to level up? And again, I've got an example here and a sample I'm going to show you in a second to just give you some jumping off points. And ideally, you can do that either right here as you're watching this and just do it on a scratch piece of paper, or if you want to reach out to us and get this tool, we can do that too. What are the top 10 things? And ideally, stretch yourself to get 10 things. You might only get 7, you might only get 8, you might only get 6. Stretch for 10. Try to come up with the 10 most important levers that you can pull. What has to happen for you to achieve those goals, right? What's the shortest distance to get those things done? What resources, tools, and support do you need? Think in terms of team or mentors or resources, things like that. What would be the single fastest way to achieve that? And then what have you learned by going through this diagnostic, this process, right? And then last but not least, you come back here, your most important action steps, you fill in the blank. So now let's walk through a sample, right, from today. And so this particular example shows 9s going across the board. And then, what they did here is they starred the things that are the weaker points, right? And so they're looking at what can we do here, the weaker points, 2 to 3. So the rest were 9, but those 2 were 8s and 6s. Now, I get the feeling this person will never rate themselves a 10 on anything, just looking at this. But, that may be you, but it may not be. Right? Then going around the wheel, we've got 9s, and then, okay, we got another one that dipped into an 8 and 8. So I would encourage you to look for the 2 lowest scores. And then, again, you're going to self-assess, but now you're going to reflect. So the top one was 86, the bottom one was 88. Now, where are they now? This client, they're growing. They got multiple campaigns driving leads. They're getting 25 opt-ins a day, 175 a week, 750 a month. That's generating 57 plus appointments a month, and they're getting 5 to 7 new clients every single month like clockwork. Where do they want to go? They want 15 to 20 clients per month. They want to host more events. They want to do licensing for their advisors. They also are going to be looking at doing more 2-day events, right? Next, why do you want to get there? greater growth, challenge, impact, influence. They want to let their talent, if they don't do it, they feel they're letting their talent go to waste. They're not setting a good example for their kids. What are the top 3 to 5 things to level up immediately? Models for the event, the live 2-day, more integrated follow-up with text and actual calling. What's called Operation Outbound and getting new sales reps in place. What are the top 10 things? They got 8. Get the calendar in place, the scorecard in place, model for the 1-day to the 2-day. C number 3, get a rhythm for the 2-day and the 1-day. Integrate text and phone follow-up, outbound team setup. Ideally, you could start to see how this just pulls out some insights and self-reflected wisdom that you already possess. But remember, the same actions, behaviors, thinking that got us to where we are not likely going to be the next ones to get us to 8-figure plus, right? So next are the lives with media, and then lastly, taking partnerships and client work deeper, right? So next, what has to happen to achieve this? Just do it. What resources, teamwork, accountability, leads tag, leads move, get buy-in, commitment from the team, the pipelines, what would be the fastest way? Teamwork and get the who's in place. What have you learned? Strong plan that's achievable and focus on the who. My most important action steps, who. And again, if you need help implementing, just follow these steps here to send us a text or to schedule a session, another session. We can also accommodate to be able to do that. Now, hopefully that gives you some good jumping off points, right? We've covered a lot in this quick overview, right? So we've talked about 6 really critical things to be able to do. Do you remember what they are? Let's do a recap so you can make sure to leave with these for what you need to be able to do in your business overall, right? We need to focus on strategy. We need to focus on team. We need to focus on tech, financials, model, offer, marketing, systems for marketing and sales. And then you've got this diagnostic, which helps pull out even some greater detail. And the bottom line is, if you're looking for a way to go faster, right? You want to get a plan. You want to get the team. You want to get a lot of these things in place specific to marketing. Let's have a conversation and go deeper. You can do that by going to this link here, breakthroughstrategycall.com, or reach out to us other channels, breakthroughstrategycall.com. So as you look at this, can you start to feel what it would be like to be able to hit 8 figures plus, 8 figures plus, plus, plus? How would that sound, right? Imagine being able to have a business with as few as 20, 25 team members, the rest of it fractional, like one of our mentors, and being able to have a 1 billion person impact all over the world. What would that be like? You can do it. And the bottom line is the tools are available. It's just going to take some refinements. And this is a great time to review, reset, recalibrate, rejuvenate, renew, sometimes remodel, and go for your focus. Increase that focus. Focus on that next level. We look forward to serving you, helping you reach your goals. See you next time. Bye for now.